Hello, this is Marilyn. This is my channel to help people that have been sexually abused. Today I brought Skeeter. He's 6 years old. He was a shelter dog and I rescued him maybe about 3 years ago. And he's one of my 4 dogs. And when you've been sexually abused and have PTSD, dogs bring a lot of comfort and love. So I've got Skeeter with me today. But I'm excited to talk to you because I got a picture this morning that I think will really describe what I'm trying to explain as far as after effects. Here's a picture that I got, and it's a picture of an octopus. At the very top is the head, and see all the tentacles that come underneath the octopus, all those lines. I drew 100 lines, and that represents all the after effects that come from sexual abuse. Now, when I began writing my first book when I was 65, I prayed and asked God to show me anything I needed to find to get ready to do this. And I was sent to sandf.org, SANDF, like in Frank.org. And there was a list of about 100 different after effects that come when you're sexually abused. And I looked at this. I'd never seen anything like this before. It's a little test where you write down if you had this after effect or not. And I went through and I had like 70 of the 100 different after effects. Now, from when I was born to age 40, I didn't know I was sexually abused, but all those years I carried the after effects, and there are all sorts of different fears, and I've got it right here. Fears, physical symptoms, mental symptoms, relationship issues, sexual issues, memory, and spiritual. And when you go through that, sexual abuse impacts every area of your life. But I never put it all together that all these different things were because I was sexually abused. And the memories of sexual abuse didn't come until I was 40. So all those years, I was dealing with each individual tentacle from that octopus. And it was just earth-shattering when I found that list. I mean, if I would have seen this list in high school, I think I could have figured out I had been sexually abused, even though I didn't have any memories because I had so many after effects. And I'm very excited to, I'm excited that I saw that picture and am able to just kind of present it in that way. So I hope you look at that list and take the quiz. Now, if you have a lot of after effects, it doesn't necessarily mean absolutely you were sexually abused, but there's a real good indication. And you don't have to be touched to be sexually abused. There's a lot of things people can do to children or adults that causes trauma, but they weren't necessarily touched. And I don't know if I want to go down that road, but anyway. So through the years, when I went to the different doctors, I brought to them the after effects. I brought the depression, the eating disorder, the nightmares, all the different things. And I was born in 1951. So in the 50s, 60s, 70s, it wasn't until the 80s and 90s that they kind of put the pieces together. Doctors did the best they could. They just gave me drugs, which didn't help a bit. But they didn't know what I had, because they didn't have the information themselves yet. And I'm at a loss for words. It was so many years of not knowing. And then once I knew, once I figured out the whole mystery, that it was Mom and Dad, man, I was filled with rage. My thought was, how could they have done that to their only little girl? When I was in counseling and Dr. Nash would talk to me about this, I wanted to tear apart his office. The rage was so strong. I wanted to punch holes in the sheetrock. I wanted to break the windows. I wanted to hurt him. I was so enraged by what had happened to me. I was grieving for the child that I was meant to be this certain little girl. But because of everything that happened to me, I was different. I carried around all this garbage, and I had no idea why. But the counseling, Jagger hears something. The counseling is so good to get to the core issue. The core issue was the abuse. The core issue wasn't my eating disorder. It wasn't my depression. Those were all pointing me in the direction that I needed to go in order to discover the root cause of what was wrong with me. So I encourage that you're able to seek out good counselors. Christian counselors, that really helps. But my counselors weren't Christian, and I did learn from them. It just took a long time to get to the point where I was ready to receive healing from God. But it's never too late, no matter what you've gone through. I know when I was ready, I prayed and I asked God, please give me a few memories to show me what happened. Not a lot, not too much, just a few. And the next morning, about 10 o'clock in the morning, I received the memories. And it was like a movie projector, a black and white movie projector that just showed me these pictures of what happened. And it was like an old movie projector, how it click, 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 click. It was just like that from my past. And I saw what I needed to see. I didn't like it because in that abuse, there was like a portion of me died. I wasn't the same little girl who was born into this world. I was changed by two people in my household. But on one of my next videos, we're going to talk about forgiveness. And oh, was that a hard thing to do? Forgiving the people that abuse you. When my pastor and my counselor, almost the same week, on separate occasions, told me I needed to forgive them, I looked at them and said, there's no way. I mean, I am never, ever forgiving them for what they did. But that rage, it kept me a prisoner. And the rage kind of felt good for a while. It was like I built this picket fence around me that nobody could get close to me and hurt me. But after a while, it takes so much energy to keep that rage going. It's important that you forgive. But I didn't know how to do that. And Pastor Pat said, just say the words. Even though you don't mean them, just say the words. So I would say, Mom and Dad, I forgive you for the abuse. And then he said, pray blessings over them. So I'd say, Mom and Dad, I forgive you for the sexual abuse, and I pray blessings over you. I didn't mean it. I was just obedient. I would do that maybe 3 times a day. And after maybe 3 or 4 months, it sunk in. And I had forgiven. And I wasn't carrying around the rage anymore. It was crazy how that all worked. But the Bible says that we can't carry anger against others. And so I was doing what I was supposed to do, trying to be obedient. And if you're listening to this, you may have rage at other people also. And I encourage you, even if you're not ready, to forgive. Now, my rage would come back. My parents wanted me to come over for Christmas, for Thanksgiving. And it's like, oh, I don't want to. And so it's like peeling the onion. Something happens, you forgive again. And again, and again, and again. But you just stay vigilant. And you just keep forgiving and forgiving. It's a gift you're giving yourself by forgiving. It doesn't mean you got to hang out with these people. But maybe you will get to the point where that's just fine. But that's the video for today. I don't think it's my best, but there's so many things I want to tell you, and I hope we can just do this together. Just keep tuning in. I pray each morning on what I should talk about, and this was for today. So God bless. Bye-bye.